Well, I am super excited to be with you guys tonight. It's been a while since I got to Zoom and teach and all this fun things since usually I like to teach in live person, but since we are all changing how we do all the things all the time now, just like my kids are Zooming their school days away, I thought I could Zoom into a doTERRA class, right? So what I wanted to talk about tonight and what I'm most passionate about is living a healthy lifestyle. And not that it's a diet here and a diet there or a change here. And, we make these drastic changes really fast. But the consistency of making choices on a daily basis that can really have the long-term impact that we want, which is health and vitality and energy. Those are the things that really matter to me. And like Rosie said, I was introduced to her and the whole doTERRA lifestyle about 8 years ago, but that is not when my health journey started. I've always loved, back in being a kid, I don't think I ever sat still. I just always liked to move my body. I was always playing sports. That was always important to me. And then we have had different members of our family deal with some health issues. A few of my uncles have passed away early. My aunt passed away early. My father passed away early. So from the early age of 20, I got to witness my dad's health, and he tried to take care of himself, but there were some lifestyle choices that really impacted his health and ultimately, I believe, contributed to his passing at a very young age that I'm getting close to already. So the continuation of a healthy lifestyle just became even more important. And so I kind of live my life and try to teach people, it's the little things that matter that we do every day. Maybe not every day, but consistently, that really are going to make the biggest impact long term. We can all stop drinking coffee for a day. That's going to be great. We can always walk around the block one time. That's great. But if we walk around the block one time every day, that's going to be where you find that impact. So I want you to take just a moment and maybe write down 3 things that you would like to see change in your health. And we're going to pause for a second, but take just a second. 3 things that you'd like to change. What do you want to focus on? And then we'll dive into it. So just pause for a second. I'm going to turn off my camera here for a second. And then you write, and then we'll be right back in about 10 seconds here. All right, so did everybody get a chance to jot down what is important to them in their health? Like, what are you wanting to focus on? And you can just tuck that away for a while, and we'll address it again at the end of our chat tonight. Let's see, sorry. One of the books that I read a long time ago, and it was kind of circulated through, when you're in a group of people, people will find a book and then we read it, excited about it. But one that really resonated with me was called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. If you haven't read that book and you need something to do while you're safe at home these days, I would suggest picking up that book. It's pretty small, or short, I should say, and it's a quick read, but it really does have a great impact on the concept of what we do every day makes a bigger difference. So if you want to check that out, that's kind of a nice resource just for mindset. When we start talking about healthy lifestyle and daily habits, having the mindset of why that's important to you is sometimes really what can keep you going. I know the thing that drives me, again, I want to never be in a position where my body tells me what I can and cannot do. To me, that is really important. So yes, I've had injury. Yes, that's been really frustrating. Yes, I've had times I'm super busy and I don't get to do the things, the movement I want all the time. But knowing that the long term, what is important to me is that my kids aren't having to worry when they're 20 if their mom's going to be around. You know, I want to be there for them. I want to watch my grandchildren grow. I want to live to be 100. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and I have lots of people that are like, oh my gosh, I would never want to do that. And I'm like, I've just decided I'm going to be 100, and I'm not going to be an old 100. I'm going to be an 100, and I'm going to have vitality, and I'm going to be still functioning at high level. So I know if that's what I'm set to do, that I have to make choices every day. So I want to talk a little bit about the daily routine that is in kind of really what I do every day. If you're going to have a lifestyle that you're going to be consistent with, it can't be something that's completely so many things and so many steps where you're like throwing in the towel by day 3, right? So making small changes to begin with is super important. So Rosie, if you want to go to the morning routine, this is what I find to be most important for me, is getting up in the morning and drinking water. You guys, drinking water is so important. There are books, there are blogs, there's so much information about how important water is. And when you start talking about water too, you want to make sure you're drinking filtered water of some degree. Most tap water is pretty tainted at this point. Of course, we are so lucky and blessed that where we live, in most places, we can drink the tap water without complete danger, but we also know that by filtering our water, we're getting a better quality product for our whole entire body. So the first thing that I do in the morning is I wake up and I put a couple drops of lemon oil in my water, and I just guzzle that down. Now, I read one time, if you sip your water, you're hydrating. And if you are gulping your water or taking a whole bunch at once, you're flushing out your system. So in the morning, I flush out my system, and I put that, I use lemon, it's just most common for me, but also grapefruit oil or lime oil, even the wild orange. Any of those citruses are really good for your system to get going. Sometimes I'll even use a couple drops of celery seed oil, but I do put that in a capsule because I don't love the taste of it. But flushing your system is so important. It's one way that we can use the oils internally. And really, you can just put like 2 to 3 drops in a whole water bottle. Make sure that water bottle is a glass bottle. You don't want the oils sitting in plastic. That just contributes to putting more plastic in your whole body, which is, of course, completely opposite of what you want to do. So make sure you're using glass, and if you don't have a glass bottle, metal is just as fine. So when you drink my water, I also take 1 to 2 Terrazyme because I haven't eaten anything yet. So I want that Terrazyme, part of our digestive system that we have from doTERRA. And the Terrazyme is really good for breaking down all the different foods that we eat, and also helping different vitamins and nutrients to assimilate into your system better. So we use the Terrazyme in our family quite a bit. We want to make sure that we're digesting all the food, getting all the nutrients. The more it's digested, the smaller the molecules become. Your body can take that into the system a little bit easier. So we love to have the Terrazyme. And then quite frankly, after my my lemon water and Terrazyme is when I generally will drink my cup of coffee. Now, I was kind of thinking to myself, and I didn't take time to look it up, but I wonder what oils would actually go well in a cup of coffee. I don't know, maybe you guys can chat about that and share some ideas. But I was thinking like cardamom might be good. Oh, see, Stacy popped right in there. Cardamom might be a good choice, just for fun to play with. But after I have my coffee, I am not a super like on the go morning person. That's not my general get up. But I usually will get some movement in. And then at some point in my morning, I make a green smoothie. So at the end of the slide, we will have a green smoothie recipe that has some essential oils in there. But I like to keep it pretty clean. I like greens. And I like to add a little bit of fruit just to give it some sweetness, but not too much sugar. So using berries is a good idea because they're lower in the sugar content. Also, if you're just getting new and started and you need some ideas, we have the Terra Greens, which is a powder that you can just add in with some water, or you can throw it in your blender with the rest of your add-ins. But we have the Terra Greens, which is super full of nutrients that are so good for you. And that one is got some sweetness in it. So there's, I believe it's stevia, to give it some sweetness. So if you're new to green smoothies, that might be a good place for you to start. We also do have our shakes, and there's a chocolate and a vanilla and a green protein powder that is a pea protein powder for that, the green vegan shake. But those are great substitutes if you're just trying to get yourself into a routine. If you're not used to having smoothies, that can be really overwhelming. So again, making small changes and making them easy is what it's really about. So if you're brand new and you're just getting started, then go ahead and try one of those shakes. I love the chocolate one. I put a scoop of peanut butter in there because it has some protein, and I usually use almond or coconut milk, and just blend that up really fast. And you know, it's so delicious. I mean, I could pay $7 for the same thing at the store or at the smoothie place down the street. So having some good breakfast is always important. It's a little bit of protein. And then after I've had some getting going, I'll usually, you know, get to the shower. And of course, my shower and bathroom are full of doTERRA products. We can talk about that at the end. But the important thing that I do is I put a couple of drops of frankincense under my tongue. And that will definitely help with brain function. I love that it helps with some clarity in my thinking. I love that I know that by putting it under my tongue, it's going into my system very quickly. It's helping with some inflammation. So I really love that little boost of frankincense. And I also know, especially now when we're so concerned about our immune system working at its optimal performance, that having that frankincense is never a bad idea. So a couple drops of frankincense, and then I use Clary Calm on my lower abdomen every morning after the shower. It's a roller bottle, it's hormone balancing. So anybody can you know, we all have an endocrine system. So if you have an endocrine system, that means your body is still doing stuff with your hormones, and it's never a bad idea to use that Clary Calm. And you can just swipe that across your lower abdomen, and then I move around my day. So that is the first things I get going. And then right now I am working on my feet a lot. So I have found that using the deep blue rub on my legs or my feet before I put my socks on has been really beneficial. And using that deep blue rub, you know, I use it for my achy feet, and my calf muscles really can just use a little bit every morning. And it helps me, since I'll be standing a lot throughout the day, to just bring some comfort. So then we go about the day, right? And then the next few little things that I do, we move to the afternoon routine. And Rosie has a fun little slide here. This is where we're really fighting the fire of life, right? Is in the midday. So we've already gotten ourselves going. And again, keeping routine and keeping it simple is, again, to me, the most important thing. I take my vitamins religiously, and we will touch on that vitamin pack. It has the omegas, it has your vitamins and minerals, and then it has the alpha CRS as well, which helps with the antioxidants being processed out of your system. So the 3-pack of vitamins is key, and just such an optimal product that we want to make sure we're getting that in every day. So a lot of people will say that's supposed to be in the morning and at night, but honestly, you guys, as long as you're taking them, don't get caught up in the details of like, oh my gosh, I missed it. So I don't like to take it on an empty stomach. I find it's a little bit too much for me. So I tend to take it later in the afternoon, and then again before bed. So just remember, again, making the things easy for you is the most important thing, as long as you get the jobs done. So the vitamin pack is super important. The more that you can balance your baseline of nutrition, everything else will fall into line after that. So making that a priority in your healthy habits is so important. You know, yes, our vitamins are top notch. You don't have to worry about that. And if you have questions, talk to your leader about that. We'll touch a bit on the end as well about the Lifelong Vitality Pack. But, you know, as far as like daily habits, I always like to make sure, you know, I used to be really concerned about the cost of produce, you know, years ago. And now I find, like just today, I had a 30-minute break. I ran over to the store with my mask on my face, and I had to pick up a few things, and I walked right by the raspberries, and I just couldn't help but buy myself a little pack of raspberries. You know, what better way to give my body fuel than rather than picking up some chocolate bar that was right at the checkout, right? So thinking about, oh my gosh, it's $3 or $5 for those raspberries, but that is fuel for my system. And if you think about your food as fuel and nothing else, you will change how you think about your food. Yes, we're going to have ice cream once in a while. We're going to have, you know, chocolate. We're going to have sugars. You know, we're going to not have a perfect diet. But when you think about everything you put in your body is fuel, you said, at least for me, I look at food very differently when I remember this is not for anything other than fuel. Yes, it can bring enjoyment. Yes, you know, if you're wallowing in sorrow, it can comfort you for 5 seconds. But on the other end of that, are you really going to feel any better? So thinking about food as fuel, and grab those raspberries and take your vitamin pack. Now, I also like to take my probiotic in the afternoon as well, because I try to space out some of those capsules. And that PB assists just building that good gut flora and having a strong intestinal tract that can fight off the bad guys in your guts is so important. We know our gut holds a big portion of our immune system. So if our guts are not feeling great and they're not strong, we tend to have a little bit more problem fighting off the different things that show up in our world, right? So the PB assist is great for me in the afternoon. Then I also tend to, you know, diffuse that On Guard. Right now, On Guard has been so sought after, and you know, for 8 years, I don't think my house has been without it. The On Guard, of course, is going to be our immune system boosting oil. It's a beautiful blend of oils with some clove and cinnamon. It has some wild orange. It pretty much smells like Thanksgiving and Christmas all rolled into one. So I'll start diffusing that as I'm sitting at my desk. If I am in my kitchen working and prepping for the dinner hour, but I just start diffusing that pretty much all afternoon. And then we also will add some citrus into that too, some extra wild orange or some tangerine just for fun. But we love to diffuse in the afternoon because, well, for me, that's when I am probably sitting at my desk and still for 5 seconds. Then I also in the afternoon find that I will like to use an emotional oil that helps to balance, because I can be super intentional about doing, but then if somebody calls and just wants to chat, and then I just, like today I had a phone call and it was fine for me. They were reaching out for help with a personal issue, but I tend to take those personal issues and I have to be really careful that I don't own them. So in the afternoon is when I'll start putting on a balance oil. Balance blend is one of my favorite blends. It always has been for 8 years. It is a bunch of tree oils, and anytime you have some tree oils in your surrounding, it will bring some grounding to your emotions. It'll help you to maybe focus a little bit better and just feel maybe some security within your own space. So again, afternoon, you know, whether it's tree oils or floral oils, whatever you decide to love and what your body is drawn to is so important to pay attention to. But for me, it's balance. And I just have that kind of sitting on my desk and in my purse, and just kind of very handy for me. So then by the afternoon, we're winding things down and our routine is rolling into the evening. And when we get to the evening routine, you know, of course, the family's coming home from work and from school. So we might be changing what's in the diffuser. But by dinner time, that's when we're really regrouping. You guys I know like everyone, our afternoons can get crazy once everyone starts gathering again, and our energies can get really kind of drawn in a bunch of different direction. But that is when I'll, you know, after dinner is when I take my second dose of my Lifelong Vitality Pack. So I just pair that right with my dinner. The kids are now at an age where they get up from the dinner table. As they're clearing the dinner table, everyone just kind of gets their vitamins. And that has just been really part of our routine. And I want to just address with the vitamin pack, you know, do I really need to take, you know, 2 of everything twice a day? Do I need them twice a day? Optimally, I'm going to say without a doubt, absolutely. Now, at first, I was only able to take half doses, but I really was having some of my own issues. Probably the most major one that I've seen just changed around because of doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack. And a leader suggested to me, Leah, are you taking those vitamins? And I said, well, yeah, but, and then it was strongly suggested that I take the full dosage as recommended from doTERRA. And you guys, it was life-changing. So when we talk about that vitality pack, and do you want to take both the morning and the night, or how do you want to think about that? I will guarantee, maybe if you're brand new to it, start small so you don't kind of shock your system. But by the end of that first month, I would say you want to be moving into having the full dose. Because it really will make an impact. But for routine, again, that comes in our family right at the end of dinner for our second dose. By the time that's done, hopefully homework is done and we don't have too much going on with family emotions, but we're going to start winding down. I have a family member who has a really hard time winding down at the end of the night. And so we'll start diffusing lavender. We'll start diffusing the Serenity. She now just has her own diffuser in her room. She has for years, and I don't have to remind her much anymore to put in that Serenity or put in the oil that we love so much. Put in some kind of calming oil. So diffusing in the evening is really a beautiful time in our bedrooms or in our quiet spaces to start de-stressing, you know, kind of shifting, getting ready for bed. And then of course we use that, when we do lights out, I find I use the Peace blend, and it's in a roller bottle. And quite frankly, you guys, sometimes I'm rolling into bed and I don't care about setting up a diffuser anymore. I have one sitting right next to my bed, and probably a good majority of the time it will run at night. But even if I am too tired to get the diffuser going, I have my roller bottle of Peace blend that I love. That's right on the side of my, right by my bed. So as you can see, we talk about a bunch of different products, but for me, I focus on using maybe 3 or 4 things with each part of my day. I don't like that my habits have to be complicated. Your lifestyle doesn't have to be overwhelming. Like, life is overwhelming at times. So using your wellness products to stay well shouldn't put you over the edge, right? So I wanted to touch on a few other products that are some little life hacks that I have. They're not necessarily my everydays, but they are part of the healthy habit kits. Well, all the things that we talked about actually are part of this healthy habit kit, which for me was such a great thing because these are the things I use every day. So when they came out with a healthy habit kit, I just was like, well, of course they did, because that makes the most sense. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. But I will say, the more that you learn about living a non-toxic lifestyle, the more that you learn about small habits making an impact, the more that you learn about what you clean your house with makes a difference and how your hormones will balance. All those little things become ritual. So I want to just touch on a few little things that I do extra throughout my day, and at maybe different times throughout my, throughout the months, I guess, but not maybe every single day. So I love to use the doTERRA mouthwash and their toothpaste. I do use those every day. I still have no cavities, so that's always fun to say. at my grand old age. And I know a good part of that is using that doTERRA for a long time now. And I also have to contribute that some genetics may play into that as well. But I also love in my shower, the shampoo, the bath gel, and the soap. Even my daughter, she's now in the teen years, and she'll say, Mom, why can't I just buy blah, 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 fill in the blank, body products, just like all my friends? And so I get to teach her and I get to educate her why it's important. What is on our skin, what is around us really does impact how our bodies perform. And so sometimes she's a little more frustrated than others, but we are finding a balance, and I'm teaching her how to make her own body sprays. So having doTERRA have those bath gels and soaps, you know, those are just fun things that make a really big impact. Again, in the everyday, using things that are non-toxic every single day, to me, that's important. I was one time shopping and we were buying coffee creamer, and it was so great because the family member I was with accidentally grabbed, like, I don't know, a fat-free something. And I am just not a fan of fat-free anything. Like, if I'm going to have fat, give me the fat, right? And so we had a nice conversation about why that was important. And I said, you know, if I'm going to have coffee creamer every single day, I'm going to make sure it's a good one, and that I can read every single thing that's on the ingredient label, and that I know what I'm putting in my body. So those things that you do every day are the things that you should be more intentional about. Other things that I will use throughout different times of my life is that Mito2 Max. That product right there is certainly one to help with your energy levels. If you have a hard time getting yourself going, maybe you've kind of run at a high pace for a long time and you need to give your adrenals some extra love. Using that Mito2 Max capsule is beautiful. And again, I would take that in the morning, maybe midday, and add that in with my vitamins. And I also use the basil oil on my back. So a couple of drops of basil will be beautiful. I just put a couple drops on my fingertips and roll it on my back, and then I roll into bed. And that has made a huge impact on my energy levels, and I know I'm supporting my adrenals as well. And then also, if I need some little pick-me-up, I love, of course, peppermint is so uplifting, but the Motivate blend is a citrus and mint blend. So check out that Motivate as well. Now, some extra things, if you really do struggle with that nighttime routine, I would say, you know, using the Serenity, there's a pack that you can get that is the capsules and the oil. And using those together has been really, really beneficial for many people. So taking those capsules about a half an hour before bed will really start to calm your nervous system and help bring some calmness internally that may help you able to sleep better. Again, I also use that Peace blend for nighttime. And that Serenity, sometimes, you know, if I'm having a lot of extra anxiousness or stress, I'll use that Serenity for, you know, a week straight. And then sometimes I'll take a break. So it doesn't have to be an every day, but maybe for you, it would be beneficial in that capacity. The last thing that I wanted to talk about again is emotions. Emotions really do play a big part in how our body will react physically. So we don't talk about that as much, but it is becoming more and more where people are addressing how, when we are hurt physically or emotionally, and it impacts the other. And so, you know, making sure to address your emotions is super important. Understanding where those emotions come and how you can I won't say control your emotions, but bring some balance to them is super important. So we do have the emotional oil set that has the peace, has the forgive, has the console. There's a couple others in that set, and that's a beautiful set of oils that you can add in just to have in your home. And then if you are somebody who is super anxious or know people who are super anxious, you guys, one of the most important and new products that has been released at convention is the Adaptive line. And the Adaptive line has a roller bottle, it has an oil, and it also has a capsule. And so that is something that is so beautiful of a combo that doTERRA's really put so much thought and effort into. And if you know anyone dealing with lots of feelings of feeling overwhelmed or things like that, you really want to look into this line and talk with a person that you work with most, because it's been so beneficial. There have been clinical studies done, and it really is a new member to our team of oils that really can have the greatest impact. So in wrapping up, I just want to, make sure that we remember that it's the little things that we do every day that really will make the biggest impact. And you guys, I just can't stress enough how, using your oils topically, using them internally, and using them in a diffuser can really have an impact in your overall health. And, find the one or two things that you can change tomorrow. Decide what that might look like and put that into action. You can really find so much benefit by making little changes that are going to have a long impact. So don't get overwhelmed and do everything at once. Then you'll quit by day 5, right? But where can you add oils into your water? Can you even remember to drink water every day? Like, let's start with the very basics and make it super simple. Add one or two things in and talk with somebody. If you need an accountability partner, it could be a family member, it could be your doTERRA team member. It could just be a journal that you're writing and finding accountability by writing down, yes, I went for a walk today. Yes, I found movement in my day. That movement's going to look different for everyone. So some people are going to want to walk. Some people are going to run. I love to run. I try walking. It's okay, but I'm a runner. Some people love to swim or bike or do yoga. It doesn't matter what it is, but find some movement in your everyday, and you'll find even 15 minutes eventually will turn into 20. And even if it doesn't, that's okay, but you're being intentional about finding that movement. So finding accountability, keeping a journal. Some people will want to have a chart and a checkoff list. Make one for yourself. We're going to talk here in just a minute about the Lifelong Vitality Pack Challenge that's coming up. If you guys were lucky enough to grab that vitamin BOGO deal last week, it's really such a special that we got those 3 extra oils, but we are going to do a group challenge to do the 30 days of vitamins. So I hope you guys take advantage of that. And when Rosie talks about it, I think somewhere in there's a checklist. And so if you're a checklist person, make sure you use that and hold yourself accountable. So you guys, I hope that you found a few tips and tricks today. I want you to just remember that what you do every day is going to have the long-term benefits. So find things that work for you. If you want to reach out to me, I love helping people find how they can add things into their day, make things easy, keep your vitamins where you're going to use them. Don't put your nighttime oils downstairs in your kitchen, and don't put your lemon water oil up in your bedroom. Keep it where you're going to use it, where you're going to remember to use it, and it's going to become part of your habits. Thank you so much for letting me share with you today. I love sharing this this piece of my heart with you, and I really hope that you guys can just incorporate this into your day.